The Hinterkaifeck murders. The most bizarre unsolved massacre in German history. In the cold, haunting winter of 1922, deep in the forests of Bavaria, Germany, a brutal massacre occurred that remains unsolved to this day. It didn't happen in a dark alley or a bustling city, but in the silence of a lonely farmstead called Hinterkaifeck. Hinterkaifeck wasn't even a town, just a remote farm hidden behind the woods, a few miles from a village named Gruber. The farm was home to 6 people: Andreas Gruber, 63 years old, a stern, paranoid farmer; Cecilia Gruber, his 72-year-old wife; Victoria, their widowed daughter, 35; little Cecilia, Victoria's 7-year-old daughter; Joseph, her 2-year-old son; and their maid, Maria Baumgartner, who had only arrived that very day. They were killed just hours later. A few months before the murders, Andreas Gruber told neighbors something disturbing. He had found footprints in the snow, leading from the forest toward the farm, but none going back. He also heard footsteps in the attic, found a strange newspaper in his home that no one admitted to bringing, and even had keys go missing. The previous maid had quit suddenly, claiming the house was haunted. She spoke of strange voices, footsteps at night, and an oppressive feeling of being watched. Andreas didn't report it to police. He didn't leave. He stayed. So did his family. Sometime on the night of March 31st, 1922, the killer, or killers, struck. He somehow lured 4 of the victims, Andreas, his wife, his daughter Victoria, and little Cecilia, one by one into the barn. There they were struck in the head with a pickaxe-like tool. Then the killer entered the house and murdered the new maid Maria in her bedroom. Finally, he killed 2-year-old Joseph as he lay in his crib. But the horror didn't end there. Here's the most chilling part. The killer stayed. He fed the cows. He ate meals in the kitchen. Neighbors saw smoke rising from the chimney, and when people came days later to check on the family, they found the bodies neatly stacked, covered with hay. Even the family dog was alive, but terrified. The farm had been running as if someone had lived there. Police were baffled. There were no clear motives, no fingerprints, and no witnesses. But here's what they uncovered. Victoria Gruber had been in a scandalous relationship with her father Andreas, possibly since she was a teenager. Her husband had supposedly died in the war, but rumors swirled that he had returned and killed them all in revenge. Others suspected a jealous neighbor, a disgruntled former lover, or even a vagrant who had hidden in the attic for days. Over 100 suspects were interviewed. No one was charged. Little Cecilia, the 7-year-old girl, had pulled out tufts of her own hair before dying, indicating she was alive for hours after the attack. The murder weapon, a homemade mattock, was found years later, hidden in the attic. The family was finally buried without their heads, because authorities sent them for study. But during the chaos of World War II, the heads went missing and were never found. To this day, the Hinterkaifeck murders remain one of the most disturbing and mysterious unsolved crimes in history. Was it revenge, incest and shame, supernatural fear, or just a madman hiding in the attic, biding his time? We may never know. If you like this story, subscribe to ADI Kex 100, because some stories aren't fiction, they're worse.